Redwood International Airport bustles on an early Tuesday morning in autumn. Dawn light streams through massive glass walls, illuminating lines of people waiting at check-in counters. The air is filled with announcements of departures and arrivals in multiple languages. The shiny tiled floor reflects up onto the high ceiling, lending the terminal a sense of bright openness, as if the great dome above is embracing the thousands of travelers setting off on new journeys. Marcus Bradley, age 16, stands by a tall support column near an electronic display board, his official visitor badge dangling from a lanyard around his neck. His gaze wanders eagerly around the terminal, revealing a mix of excitement and slight nervousness. He is a young black teenager with a slender face, bright eyes, and a warm smile. Compared to other kids his age, Marcus has a special passion for aviation. One point of pride for him: he can identify nearly any commercial aircraft by the sound of its engines alone. Inside his crossbody bag, Marcus carries a thick notebook of notes about flight procedures, technical figures, and cockpit schematics he has collected. Today, Redwood International is hosting a career shadowing day with Aurora Airlines, a hands-on experience program inviting high schoolers who love aviation to explore behind-the-scenes airline operations, meet real pilots, and even step inside the cockpit of planes undergoing maintenance. Marcus has won a contest by writing an essay on his dream job, chosen from among hundreds of applicants. The prize is a full day exploring Aurora Airlines, the second largest carrier in the country, and a chance to see its operations up close. Right now, Marcus is waiting for Tanya Collins, an HR representative at Aurora, who told him she would be running a few minutes late due to a security holdup. She asked him to wait in a VIP lounge area near the reception desk so she could escort him through the restricted areas. Just as Marcus is absorbed watching a Boeing 737 taxi to its gate, Tanya Collins arrives, a white woman in her early 30s, with softly curled brown hair and a brisk, lively stride. She wears a dark blue corporate suit, the signature look of Aurora employees, with a staff badge pinned on her lapel. Her warm smile conveys immediate friendliness. "You must be Marcus Bradley?" Tanya says, slightly out of breath after a quick walk. "Yes, ma'am. Nice to meet you," Marcus replies, eyes shining with excitement. Tanya extends her hand for a handshake, then glances at Marcus's visitor pass. "Welcome to Aurora. We've got a packed, exciting day ahead. We've scheduled a visit to the air traffic control tower, the baggage handling area, and even a stop in the pilot lounge at Terminal B. Are you ready for this?" Marcus nods enthusiastically, his heart pounding in anticipation. To him, everything about to unfold feels like an entirely new world, even if he's studied these processes tirelessly in books and online. The morning flies by faster than Marcus expects. Tanya leads him through multiple areas, from the Flight Operations Command Center and security camera monitoring rooms to the aircraft ramp where planes are parked. Everywhere they go, Marcus asks a flurry of questions that clearly aren't light or casual. Tanya continues to be surprised by his knowledge. "So you're telling me the thrust rating on a Boeing 787 engine is what?" she quizzes him casually. "Between 64,000 and 70,000 pounds of thrust, depending on the engine variant," Marcus answers. "I also read about the flap track fairings and how they're inspected before takeoff. Want me to explain the basics?" Tanya laughs with genuine admiration. "Impressive. You've really done your homework. You seem more prepared than some new interns we have." They walk through the baggage sorting area, watching conveyor belts constantly rumble under neat piles of luggage. Marcus finds every operation fascinating. He wants a complete understanding of the entire flight process, not just the airborne part, but the ground preparations too. Around midday, Tanya receives an urgent call from the HR department. "Marcus, I have to dash back to the office. It should only take about 20 minutes. You can wait for me in the pilot lounge at Terminal B. Typically it's only for staff, but we've been granted special clearance, so just show your visitor's badge. They're running an aviation documentary on TV in there. Make yourself comfortable, and I'll be back soon." Marcus nods cheerfully. Holding his visitor pass, he goes through a special doorway, following Tanya's directions. The public crowds thin out, replaced by staff corridors lined with glass panels and a clear view of the runways. Marcus thinks to himself, "I can't believe I'm actually walking into the employee zone." Marcus finds the pilot lounge at Terminal B bigger than he imagined. The walls are painted a soft gray, the overhead lighting gentle. Several posters promoting flight safety are taped around. There are clusters of plush sofas, a coffee machine, a mini fridge with bottled drinks, and a large television mounted prominently on the wall. He chooses a quiet corner. On TV, a documentary about the evolution of transatlantic commercial aviation is playing. Perfect for his interests. Time slips by. Several pilots come in and out, presumably prepping for flights, until the lounge empties out. Marcus gets completely drawn into the documentary segment about the shift from propeller-driven planes to jet engines. Suddenly, a sharp voice breaks the silence behind him. "Who are you? Why are you in here?" Marcus turns around with a jolt. Standing there is Rachel Connor, a captain at Aurora with 2 decades of long-haul experience. She's in a crisp pilot's uniform, her sleeves bearing 4 gold stripes, her brunette hair pulled back. Her eyes flash with authority and suspicion. I'm Marcus Bradley," he stammers, holding up his visitor pass. "I'm here on the airline's job shadow program. Ms. Collins told me to wait here while she handles an emergency. She said—" Rachel Connor's expression remains guarded. She strides closer, eyeing him up and down. "How exactly did you get in here? This is a restricted security area. That badge doesn't look legitimate." Marcus's heart skips a beat. He can feel the tension. Even though he's been assured his pass is valid, the hostility in Rachel's glare unnerves him. Trying to contain his nerves, he replies, "Ma'am, Ms. Collins escorted me through security. She said I'm allowed—" Without warning, Rachel snatches the lanyard from around Marcus's neck, snapping it in the process. The aggression makes Marcus's heart pound. This ID looks fake. "Never heard of some black teenager hanging out here all alone without a pilot or manager. You must have snuck in," she says threateningly. Marcus stands there, stunned. The way she says "black teenager" hits a raw nerve. He's just a 16-year-old, deeply passionate about aviation. How did he end up labeled suspicious, even criminal, in a single moment? Events escalate when Rachel whips out her phone and calls into the hallway. "Security, please send officers to the pilot lounge in Terminal B immediately. We have an intruder, possibly using a forged pass." She also grabs her airline-issued radio, repeatedly pressing the transmit button. Chaos swirls around Marcus. His breath grows ragged. He feels fear coursing through every vein. Within 5 minutes, 2 airport security officers appear. James Howard, tall, white, stern-faced, and Luke Hernandez, medium build, Latino, with a serious demeanor. Both wear black security uniforms, radios, and batons at their belts. Rachel Connor points at Marcus. "I found him here with no valid reason. The badge seems phony. I'm concerned about aviation security, especially with someone who clearly doesn't belong here." Officer Howard briefly examines the ID which Rachel took off Marcus. Marcus frantically tries to explain, his voice trembling. "I didn't do anything wrong. I was invited. Ms. Tanya Collins brought me in. She only left to handle an HR emergency. She told me to—" Rachel huffs dismissively. "I want you both to remove him now. He could be gathering sensitive intel, or who knows what. We can't have random kids messing around in secure areas, definitely not someone like him." Marcus feels each word like a punch, especially the insinuation, "someone like him." He's outraged at the injustice. All he did was watch a documentary on jet engines, and suddenly he's a security threat? Howard and Hernandez bombard him with questions. "What's your name? Why are you in an employee-only zone? Who issued this pass to you? Is anyone else with you? How did you get past security?" Marcus tries to steady himself, answering carefully. "My name is Marcus Bradley. I came through security with Ms. Collins. She works for Aurora. This is an official visitor pass. It has my photo from earlier today." But everything around him feels dizzy and disjointed. The presence of uniformed officers, plus Rachel's hostility, intensifies his anxiety. He pleads for the chance to call his mother and calm down. Marcus dials his phone with shaky hands. On the other end, he hears his mother, Helena Davis, pick up almost instantly. "Mom, I need you to come to Terminal B, the pilot lounge. They're saying I'm not supposed to be here." Helena's voice resonates with concern. "Marcus, what's going on? Are you okay?" He whispers into the phone, fighting tears. "I'm okay, just please come, I'm scared." One of the security guards takes the phone from him and ends the call. "That's enough. Stay where you are." Rachel Connor crosses her arms, looking smug. "So your mom works at the airport, huh?" "Well, maybe she's just a janitor or something. Either way, I'll make sure we look into how you broke in. This is a top-tier security zone, not a playground for curious kids." Other pilots and staff pass by, peering in. Some are whispering, but none intervene to help. To onlookers, it seems logical that if security officers and a senior pilot have apprehended a teenage black boy, he must be at fault. No one dares to question it. Marcus tries to give more details, but Howard motions for him to remain silent. "We're going to hold you for questioning," Howard says. "We'll verify your identity, see if this pass is counterfeit. If it is, you're in serious trouble." Marcus's pulse races, his face burning with embarrassment and fear. His mind reels with worst-case scenarios. Being arrested, having a criminal record, losing any shot at future scholarships. Is his dream of becoming a pilot ending here? Meanwhile, on the other side of Redwood International, Helena Davis, Marcus's mother, sits in a conference room. She is, in fact, the chairwoman and CEO of Aurora Airlines and the majority shareholder of the company. Normally, small incidents in the airport wouldn't reach her unless they escalated significantly. But she's always told Marcus, "If there's any trouble, call immediately." Helena Davis is a black woman in her mid-40s with an unshakably calm demeanor and piercing eyes. She wears a sleek black business suit with a pilot's wing pin on her lapel, a symbol of her tenure as both a seasoned pilot and the airline's principal owner. Typically, she works at Aurora's corporate headquarters a few miles away, but today she's on site at Redwood for a meeting with foreign partners. Perfect timing for Marcus's urgent phone call. 2 minutes later, she rallies Aurora's executive security team, individuals in tailored black suits wearing discreet earpieces. They notify the top-level directors and senior managers. In a coordinated formation, they sweep through the corridors to the pilot lounge in Terminal B. Back in the lounge, the atmosphere remains frozen in tension. Marcus is flanked by the 2 security officers. Rachel Connor repeatedly glances at her watch, anxious about her scheduled flight to Chicago in 40 minutes. "I can't waste all day here," she snaps. "So we need to resolve this now. I'm filing a report. The kid should be removed from the airport or handed over to the police." Marcus's heart weighs heavy. Each sentence feels more punishing than the last. He wonders why the police are even being mentioned. Why is he treated like a criminal for simply sitting here watching an airplane documentary? Right as Rachel finishes her tirade, a voice crackles over the radio, audible to everyone. "VIP approaching Pilot Lounge Terminal B. All staff in the corridor, please make way." Security officers Howard and Hernandez exchange bewildered looks. Which VIP would show up here at this time? Before anyone can react, a group of about 8 people appears at the entrance. Leading them is the sleek-suited Aurora Executive Security Detail, forming a path. Behind them are several high-level Aurora directors, carrying tablets, conferring in urgent tones. In the center, Helena Davis strides forward, eyes flashing, her face radiating an aura of authority few can match. Staff in the hallway scatter to the sides, whispering. That's Helena Davis, the CEO of Aurora Airlines. She was on last year's 50 Most Powerful Women list. Rachel Connor, with her back turned, remains oblivious to the sudden shift. But the 2 security guards clearly recognize Davis and quickly stand at attention. Marcus looks up, relief replacing his confusion. He sees his mother and feels a surge of safety. Moments ago he was petrified. Now he nearly collapses with relief. Helena Davis stops at the threshold, motions for her entourage to wait. She walks straight to Marcus, ignoring the stares. In one swift move, she wraps him in a protective hug, a genuine embrace, as if shielding her child from a storm. Marcus buries his face in her shoulder, trembling with leftover fear. Rachel Connor turns around. Seeing Helena Davis, her face goes pale. Her mouth opens, but no words come out. Helena gently releases Marcus, her gaze shifting to Rachel. The chill in her eyes is unmistakable. This is my son, Marcus Bradley, the job shadow participant you've accused of trespassing, calling security on him. Care to explain, Captain Connor? Rachel stammers. Mrs. Davis, I had no idea he was your son. I was just concerned about security. Helena's voice is steady and commanding, yet not raised. If you were following protocol, you would have verified his pass properly. Our system would confirm he's cleared to be here for his appointment with HR. Instead, you confiscated it, summoned security, and accused him of something criminal. Why did you assume a black teenager quietly watching TV was such a threat? Rachel's complexion fades further. She realizes the magnitude of her blunder. Nearby, Aurora's senior executives confirm. The security cameras show Marcus sitting quietly the entire time. His visitor badge is authentic, issued by Aurora that very morning. Tanya Collins on the phone has verified she left Marcus in the lounge as instructed. The security officers, Howard and Hernandez, also look uncomfortable, acknowledging that the boy's story adds up. Helena Davis addresses Rachel again, her voice calm but cutting. Captain Connor, I've reviewed your file. This is not your first complaint about hostility toward staff or guests of color. There are at least 3 prior complaints which ended in mild warnings because of your flight record, but today's incident can't be overlooked. Rachel stands there trembling, now fearing she could lose the career she's built over 20 years. Helena announces, I'm placing you on suspension with immediate effect pending a disciplinary review. Your flight schedule is canceled and will be reassigned to another captain. The entire lounge falls silent. Rachel stares at Helena, speechless, then lowers her gaze in defeat. One of the HR directors steps forward, escorting her away. The arrogance she displayed earlier evaporates completely. Most bystanders disperse. The black-suited security detail also retreats. Helena Davis turns to her son. Are you all right, Marcus? He nods shakily, tears threatening to surface. Mom, I was so scared. I was just doing exactly what Ms. Collins said sitting here. They looked at me like some thief. If you hadn't been, well, if you weren't who you are, would anyone have believed me? She squeezes his hand. She knows the pain of being doubted, back in her early days as a young black female pilot. I understand, honey, but you should know you have every right to be here. You won this job shadow program. You belong. Marcus sniffles, still on edge. He realizes that if his mother weren't Helena Davis, he might have been forcibly removed or arrested for trespassing. It's a painful truth, but also a spark that ignites his determination to fight prejudice in the industry. 2 weeks after the incident, Aurora holds a major internal conference. Helena Davis and the leadership team decide to launch a new training program on equality and diversity, intensifying the review of pilot behavior. They want to build a culture of respect, with no bias against race, gender, or background. In a large meeting room, top executives and representatives from pilot, cabin crew, and engineering teams gather. The big screen plays a short video of diverse aviation pioneers, men and women of various ethnicities, who faced discrimination but still rose to success. When the clip ends, Helena addresses the crowd. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. Aurora Airlines is not just about providing flights. It's about creating opportunities for people who dream of the skies, no matter who they are. All of us deserve respect. There's a round of applause. Some staffers nod in agreement, while the HR director adds, We've reached out to local high schools and colleges to expand our career shadowing program, encouraging participants of all racial and cultural backgrounds. We want to prove the sky truly belongs to everyone. A month after the incident, the pilot lounge at Terminal B, where Marcus's trouble began, has been redecorated. Alongside technical manuals and industry journals, the walls now display photos of black pilots, female pilots, Asian and Latino pilots, all of whom work for Aurora. Gone are the stodgy old posters. In their place is a welcoming, diverse environment. Marcus stands before a group of high school students, part of a newly expanded day of tours. He's now taken on the role of youth ambassador for the program. At his side is Emma Turner, a tall, experienced black female captain who took over some of Rachel Connor's flight routes. Marcus explains to the students how a flight is prepared, from flight plan calculations, fuel load, weather checks, to safety inspections. His eyes sparkle with passion, and his enthusiasm is contagious for these curious teens. I used to be like you, standing here starry-eyed, he says, voice thick with emotion. And then one day I nearly believed I didn't belong just for sitting in the lounge. But now I'm sure, if you love the sky, there's room for you. Never let anyone say you don't belong. Captain Emma Turner nods, adding, "Yes, the aviation world sometimes still has barriers, but we're tearing them down. We judge by talent, not color, by passion, not gender." Students from varied backgrounds and experiences show their excitement. They ask questions. What qualifications do I need to be a pilot? Can I still fly if I wear glasses? Isn't flight school expensive? Does Aurora have scholarships? And Marcus and Emma answer with honesty and optimism. The place buzzes with energy and hope. Later that afternoon, after the students head home, Marcus rides an elevator up to Helena Davis's elegant corner office, which overlooks the main runways through floor-to-ceiling windows. He and his mother settle into a plush sofa, no longer CEO and visitor, but simply mother and son reflecting on a momentous day. "How did it go?" Helena asks, though she's already received glowing feedback from Captain Turner. "It was great, Mom," Marcus says with a small smile that carries a trace of sadness. "They asked a lot about what happened to me, about Captain Connor. Word has spread about last month's incident. In an age of social media, secrets are scarce. Helena faced it head-on, turning what could have been a PR crisis into a catalyst for cultural reform at Aurora. So what did you tell them?" "I told them the truth," Marcus replies. "I told them I was terrified, believed my dream might be over just for sitting in the wrong lounge. There was a moment I really believed Captain Connor was right, that I had no business being there." Helena's gaze softens, a mix of pride and sadness in her eyes. "And how do you feel about it now?" "I see things differently," Marcus says, more resolute. "But Mom, I can't help wondering, if you weren't so powerful, if you were just a regular mom, would anyone have believed me?" That question has haunted both mother and son since the incident. Marcus was saved not just by the truth, but by privilege, his mother's position demanding respect, accountability, and answers. Helena leans forward, placing a hand on his. "Exactly. That's why I created the mentorship initiative. Because not every kid has a mom who's the CEO of an airline. Yet all kids deserve respect. All kids deserve to be believed." She pauses, sharing a rare personal anecdote. "When I was training to become a pilot 25 years ago, I was often the only woman, the only black person in the group. One head instructor assumed I couldn't handle it. He tested me more harshly, criticized me at every turn no matter how well I performed." Marcus listens intently. Helena rarely talks about her struggles, only her triumphs. "One day, after I aced a particularly difficult simulator test, one he was sure I'd fail, he said, 'You might pass the course, but you'll never fit in with aviation culture.' I was terrified he'd find a reason to dismiss me, so I studied twice as hard as anyone else, slept half as much, always worrying he'd find the smallest mistake." "What happened then, Mom?" "I graduated top of my class, got hired by a regional airline, and climbed the ranks. Eventually, when I had enough seniority and authority, I made sure he couldn't harass people like me anymore," she says with a wry smile. "But I wish someone had told me back then, and I want you and others to know now, that fear shouldn't be the price you pay for your dream. The terror I felt, the panic you felt, mustn't be normal or acceptable. It's a failing of the system, and it's a failure we can fix." Glancing out the window, Helena sees an Aurora flight take off, its wing lights blinking against the twilight sky. That's why our new push for diversity isn't just numbers or PR. It's a fundamental change in the roots of the airline, to ensure the next generation never has to feel that dread. Behind them, a large poster depicts the new face of Aurora's diversity initiative. Captain Emma Turner in a poised uniform, surrounded by young aspirants of various backgrounds, including Marcus. Beneath it, in bold letters, is the motto, "Fear should never be the cost of pursuing your dream." In the 6 months following the pilot lounge incident, that phrase became more than a corporate slogan. It became a rallying cry throughout the aviation world. A reminder that the sky, vast and boundless, is meant for all of us. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and stay tuned for more content spreading the message, the sky is big enough for everyone.